Yo, it's your man Erg7, and when I'm ready to hear that hip-hop and rap, you know, old school, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, I just turn the dial to my man DJ Immortal. We getting it on. Don't touch that dial. You're in the mix with Outlaw Radio Live.
All right, Outlaw Radio Live fans, we are live on the air with hip-hop artist and reggae artist Bless Streatz. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, baby boy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. I'm looking forward to this interview for quite some time, man. And I know you're a very busy guy, so I'm going to jumpstart right into this, man. I have to ask you, how and when did you get your start in the music industry?
Well, you know, just the family thing of history of they being in business. You know, my uncle was a disc jockey. Yes, from Radio Trinidad. You know, I'm from Trinidad. You know, big up to all the Trinis out there. So that kind of influenced me. And my other uncle is an engineer, so he worked for Teddy Riley for a couple of years, and that kind of made me see a big eye opener as far as, you know, how serious this can be, and made me like, okay, I like what, you know, this is going.
That's pretty cool. I actually did not know that you're originally from Trinidad. If you don't mind me asking, man, like what is Trinidad like versus North America? Like, what is the environment? Is there anything different about it? Like living condition wise?
Well, it's, you know, it's a Caribbean island. I think we are one in the fifth richest Caribbean island in the world. So it's pretty established. We got a lot of stuff over there, you know, America got, but you know, it's an island, so. You know, it's water and, you know, and a lot of soca and, you know, that type of, you know, steel pan and all that type of thing going on. And every year we have carnival, you know, and everybody comes from all over the world. But, you know, it's a melting pot now, though, but Trinity is a nice place to visit.
And you were also, so your stage name is also, like, as we all know, is Bless Streatz. I have to ask, how did that name come to be? What's the origin behind that?
Well, I got shot maybe a couple of years ago. And when it happened, first thing my grandmother walked in, I wasn't awake, but all I could hear from other people when I did get awake, you know, you're blessed to be here, you know, because she know what I made it, even though I was still underneath, you know, everything. She was like, you blessed to just still be alive, you know. So that's how that came about. And the streets, you know, my initials and not having a father and the streets really grew me, you know, to be, you know, all the street smarts and all that good stuff. So I kind of combined both together, you know, and made it what it is today.
Hey, man, I do want to say, first off, man, I'm really glad that you're still here with us as well, man. You know, that's most definitely a blessing.
God is good.
Most definitely. I agree with that. God is good, man. I'm so glad you're still here with us after that horrific incident.
Absolutely, man.
So you are also the founder and CEO at Tight R Us Records. What's the story behind that, and what other artists do you currently have signed to that record label?
Well, Tight R Us was formed together by, you know, all the cousins and whatnot, and we kind of stayed together to ourselves, even though, you know, we socialized with other people, but it was really tight. And I kind of seen that we were so different from everybody else that was family members, and, you know, people was always like, you know, kind of separated from families, and we was always like, no matter what, we're going to stick together. So, you know, we were just a family, you know, and we just kind of stick together so tight that I said, you know what, I like this. Let's call this Tight, and the Russ just came about because of the Toys R Us, and I just ran with it, you know, Tight to Us, you know. So, and the artists, I never really got a eye for anybody else because I was so working on myself, and I really wanted to get my career off the ground. that I really didn't want to focus on nobody else and kind of clog what I was doing. I say, now, let me get off the ground, and then I can search for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was really always me. You know what I mean?
And you know, when you actually said the Toys R Us thing, that's when I was doing my research and I seen that, I was actually sitting back and I'm like, you know, that the same thing popped in my head was a Toys R Us. You know, this is the way it was spelt at the end.
Yeah.
It's catchy, man. I like that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Absolutely.
So, one of my favorite songs by you is called When It Pours, It Rains. I have to ask you, what is the inspiration behind that song?
I was just seeing all the stuff that was going on around the nation, you know what I mean? And it popped out to me in my brain, like, you know, when it pours, it really rains, man. Like, and all this stuff going on, and people just getting killed, and you know, whether it's white or black, you know, and it just kind of like touched me in a way that, damn, we're on the earth here, and I could just never get it, you know, why we can't just all get along, and not a sense in a corny way, you know, in a way that, you know, that, okay, somebody can jealous of the next person. I get it. But when you take a life away, it becomes really, really a different ball game. You know what I mean? So when it pours, it rains, it just kind of hit me, and then, you know, sometimes I feel like I want to call out God's law, name and thing, you know what I mean? And that's how that came. It just flowed, you know? And that's how that song came about. But I don't usually do stuff like that, but it came like something hit me, and it just flowed, and I heard that track, that game, and Lil Wayne did, and I was like, oh man, this is something that needs a feeling, more of a feeling. You know, it was cool what they did to it, but I was like, this needs something more touching.
Needs some oomph to it. You know what I mean? Needs a little bit more oomph to it.
Yep, I just took it. That's where I ran with it, my brother.
So, you have also done work with Pharrell as well. I have to ask, how did you and Pharrell get connected?
Well, everybody always asks that magic question. Well, actually, I used to work for Teddy before Pharrell came in the picture, and that's really who put Pharrell on. And they used to come by because, you know, that they high school, the only thing that separated the studio and the high school was a swamp. I call it a swamp in Virginia Beach. And, you know, when Teddy moved there, everybody decided, you know, they wanted to get the talent be heard and whatnot. And, you know, we used to be inside of the studio chilling, and they used to come by and whatnot. And I guess Teddy, you know, decided, well, I'm going to give back. And he put on a talent show. And make a long story short, Pharrell and them won like 3 times at a talent show, something like that. And, you know, he just put them on in their first project. And everybody kind of separated after a while. And, you know, I saw them doing their thing and Neptune, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh, these guys, you know, finally got on, you know. And, you know, I did some stuff over Khalees, I Hate You So Much Right Now. And my uncle was still working with Teddy at the time, and he heard it, and he was like, yo, just to backtrack, my name was Panther before all of this, that street. And he was like, tell Panther to come down. He sat working with a group, called the Clip, and come down, and I went down, and that was a wrap.
And that's awesome, man. You know what I mean? You got to work with Pharrell and whatnot, man. It sounded like it was a really amazing experience.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, and when you was a brother before, you know, anything that you inspired with him, you know what I mean? So that kept it, you know, real. You know, it wasn't like, you know, anything else. You know, it was more like, you know, he knew I've been had talent, so. You know, and I'm a reggae artist as well, but I love hip-hop so much as well. I kind of mixed the two, you know?
Oh, man.
And that's what my sound came out to be, you know?
And you also did some work with Levi Little from Blackstreet. I have to ask, how did you and him get connected, and what was it like working with that R&B group?
Well, that was like almost the same type of family, to be honest. That's Teddy Riley. That's his camp as well. So, Teddy formed the group Blackstreet, and me and Levi always kept in touch. You know what I mean? I looked at him as a bigger brother, and he kind of really showed me a lot of things in the game, and still is. We speak like every morning. He would text me up to this day. And he's just a person that always kept it real. You know what I mean? No matter what. So the music that I was doing, he always liked the reggae. Lee was always the person that liked the reggae, and we did a couple things together, you know what I mean? I got a full album that I never even put out yet, so I'm just sitting on it, and actually he's featuring on one of them, so the Hey Girl, so you might hear from that soon. But yeah, Levi's a good dude, man.
I have to ask, when you brought up that Elba Men, do you have like an estimated release date for it, or any idea when you're going to be dropping some of that work?
No, not really. Because we're tweaking a whole bunch of other stuff. And to be honest, it's like I'm doing so much right now. I'm so involved with so much, man, that it overwhelms myself and everybody else that's around me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing the cancer stuff. I'm trying to work on a hardcore dancehall reggae album, and I'm doing the hip hop reggae on the side as well, and that's both worlds, and doing commercials and so forth. Right now, this week, I just did a commercial maybe about a couple hours ago. So there's so much thing that's on my plate, and I was always that dude to try to be an octopus, and so I never try to stay on like a one thing. But yeah, I don't have a release date yet, but it's going to happen, and you're going to be one of the first to know about it.
And while we're on the topic of like you saying you being an octopus, you're all over the place. Also, I was talking with your manager as well via Instagram, and he was saying you guys are cooking up a documentary. Would you be able to give our listeners a little bit more insight on what's to come for that? Like, what's the documentary really going to be about, and when is that planned to drop?
Well, the documentary is a visual biography about myself, what I've been through, and what I'm going through right now in my life. And I just always thought sometimes, you can always tell a person something about yourself, and, they can hear it. But when people see it, is a totally different thing. So we kind of, that, and it's a long process because it's so much years of even before I got shot, leaving Trinidad and moving to America. So it's just so much. So we just finished writing the script out and all that, and putting things in order. So probably I would say maybe next year sometime. I'm kind of looking probably air it and whatnot. We don't really have a date in mind because I'm such a critique type person. And you know how artists is. We sometimes we just don't think things is right. We always like, as you see how Kanye pushed back the album so many times, and I'm that type of person as well. I kind of don't think something is right. I would kind of wait until I know it's right, because I like to be accurate and really tight with whatever I do, you know what I mean? So that's what that's about, but yeah, it's about my life,
That's completely understandable as well, you want to make sure everything is perfect, you know what I mean? And that's understandable, man. You want to make sure everything is right down the middle, perfect. So, man, I respect that 100%, man. You are also a certified gold recording artist, man. With the album Lord Willin'. I have to ask you, how did that album come to be, and what is it like knowing that album went gold?
It's a beautiful thing, man. But I knew it would have did because the sound was so different. The clips in them was so unique. To Malice and Pusha T, they so different, they style. So I knew that would have did, and it even eventually went platinum. But it just was such a thing that was so crazy, and I'm so glad that I was on it. Go down in history to something that can be played up to this day and be like, oh damn, that was my ish. But yeah, it was a dope thing that really inspired out for people here. But yeah, gold, man, damn. And that's not the only one I got, so, that's the bug thing. A lot of people don't know, but I also got a platinum just being on Black Street, first album too. I did a remix on that. So there's a lot of things, people don't know, because I was never, to be honest, Outlaw, I was never a type of person to really, how everybody like put their stuff out there and this is what they've done and this, but it was only recently I started doing that. I was always a person that stayed in my shell, and a lot of things happened. So, I was just more, when you see me perform, like, oh, shit, that's him, you know what I mean? That's who did that, But, I got this management here, and they want me like, show people what you've done, Don't be a person that's tucked in the shell. But, yeah, it was a beautiful thing to, be a part of something gold,
You also done work with the legendary Sean Paul as well, man. What was it like working with Sean, and what is he like as a person?
Sean is cool, man. Sean, jokes, real laid back dude, but Paul loves what he do, man. And I was on that Give Me the Light tour, man. It was a good experience just to see. Paul, just doing his thing, when that Give Me the Light was hot. And he was amazed at me and what I done, because, when we was on tour, I would open up and do my thing. And he was like, God damn, man, he's fine, And that was like a big experience for me, just rubbing shoulders with him was a beautiful thing, and I had fun, But yeah, Paul is it, man. Paul is it. He has books. He walks around with his books with just nothing but lyrics, man. He's always on time with what he does, But yeah, Paul is dope.
Oh man, I grew up listening to his music as well, same as well as yours. So just the fact that both of you guys worked together. It must have been a legendary experience for both of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that, Paul loved what I did, what I mean? He was just, like, damn, when your time is going to get here, what I mean? But, as I said, all that stuff is going to make sense when people see the biography, and I don't want to give out too much because I want to keep all the good stuff, the juicy stuff, that visual biography that's going to have people like me, wow, that's what happened, you know what I mean?
Hey man, that's completely understandable, man. I'm looking forward to that visual documentary, man. It sounds like an amazing project. And you also have a saying that you created called Yaga Yo. Could you tell us the meaning behind that saying, and what's the origin of it? How did it all start?
Yeah, everybody else asked me that, man. Well, I don't know. This was something that kind of been out for a while, but I guess a lot of reggae dancehall artists, I guess probably never capitalized on it. But it wasn't something that I took from nowhere. It was just something that I just said, you know. But for some reason, they had it, you know. And I just used to just say it on stage, like, you know, when I hit stage. And it was some reason I didn't know I was saying it so much. And the manager before was like, brought it to my attention, you know, like, you know, Yagga. And I was like, God damn, I didn't know I said that so much, you know what I mean? And it came out of nowhere. And really and truly, when I entered stage, it was basically a calling to let them know I'm here, you know what I mean? You know, Bunky Killer would have his thing of, you know, Lord of mercy, you know what I mean? And everybody had, you know, their little thing, you know, and that was just my thing, you know, and whatever it if I say what's up, you know, it could mean that. If I said bye, it could mean that as well, you know what I mean? It was just something that, you know, just, you know, being an artist that I am, it was just, you know, something that I said, you know, just my thing, you know, and it kind of stuck with me, you know, and it just grow, you know, just so ironic that something like that just came out of nowhere, you know. But yeah, you know, it could mean whatever, you know what I mean?
And you also worked on the Belly soundtrack. I have to ask you, what was that experience like doing that soundtrack?
It was cool. The Belly soundtrack was more a thing that was for somebody else, and they kind of spliced me in, and I don't know. It wasn't something that I really wanted to do because I didn't think I was really ready, but it was a cool experience, you know, dealing with, you know, something like that different, you know, a lot, like, you know, besides that, a lot of projects came to me and, you know, I wasn't really ready for a lot of projects. I turned a lot of people down, but, you know, it's just, you know, when you say something is for you, you know, it's for you. Like, you know, for example, I mean, it's off the topic, but, you know, like a lot of projects came to Jay-Z, you know, for acting, and he didn't want to do it because he know, he won't be a good actor, you know. And I'm a perfectionist, you know what I mean? But you know, I did it, and it was, you know, something cool, but you know, again, I didn't think, you know, I was ready for something like that, you know. But yeah, it was you know, it was an honor and a good experience. It was cool.
I also saw on your Facebook that you have merchandise available. Can you tell us what kind of merch you have available, and where can where can our listeners actually go and buy some?
We got bags. We're about to do sweaters soon. We got cups and whatnot, and you know, we're working on hats and trying to work on my own watch as well. But slowly, you know, it was under construction, and now we're building up things slowly. But it can go on any Streatz.com. And stay tuned, you know, for things that is going to be popping up, you know, and whatnot. And we're going to be having stuff that we're going to be giving away and donating money to cancer and whatnot. So a lot of things we got in the making. It's just, as I said earlier, I got so much going on. I'm trying to do too much as one person because, you know, if you don't have your hands on things, it will never get done right. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of almost like a one-man army. You know what I mean? But slowly, you know, we're building the team. You know, my manager Adrian, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. When it's all done, you know what I mean? But yeah, Streatz.com and check it out and stay tuned. You know, let them stay tuned.
So I have to ask you this, man. What's next for you, other than the visual documentary? What else does Blessed Streatz have cooking up for the listeners, man?
We got a crazy tour eventually that we're gonna put together. You know, they just gotta stay tuned. As I said, everything is just step by step. And I want to make sure everything is right. You know, my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. So I don't want to give them too much now because, you know, we want to be right with what we do. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You know. But yeah, we want to put a crazy tour together, and I really want to come over to Canada. Because in Canada love the Blessed Streetz. So that's where I'm trying to head.
Hey, man, I most definitely, if you get some Canadian tour dates, I most definitely will scoop up some tickets for me and my wife, man. We don't get a lot of real concerts down here in Canada, man, so I most definitely would love to actually catch a Blessed Streetz concert for sure.
Yeah, once I get my papers right, because I hear they don't let too much people in if you got a felony or whatever.
Yeah, Canada, unfortunately, Canada's really, really stupid that way. Like, I love my country, I'm a patriotic guy, but when it comes to letting people across, they're very stingy, and I wish they weren't, because that's probably why we don't have a lot of great concerts down here, because they're very stingy and very strict.
Right. Well, we'll see what can work out, because that's a place I really want to hit, you know.
And this is the time in the interview, Blessed, that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the show, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, and also their social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you in your journey if they're not already doing so.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out, man, to my manager, Adrian, man, a good, hard-working dude, man, first of all, and all the people in Reading, Pennsylvania, Allentown, Tri-State of Pennsylvania, all over Brooklyn, Crown Heights, Buckshot Shorty, my dude, Special Ed, Levi Little, Pharrell Williams, most definitely my Clips buddies, and all the dudes that just stick with me, man. My two little girls, Sanai and Sumi, love them. And, you know, everybody that just support me from day one, man. Hope I ain't forget nobody. My dog, love my dog for life, you know, Tricks, the Tychurus family. And, you know, it's everybody that just showed love from day one, man. All my Facebook lovers, all my Instagram lovers. Hold your head up and stay positive for 2020. This is a vision. Yagga!
Most definitely, man. You have yourself a wonderful night, man. Thank you so much for coming up on Outlaw Radio Live, man. You have yourself a wonderful weekend, man. God bless.
You too. One love, Outlaw.